Welcome to Worthy Soul, and if this is not your first time, welcome back. Thank you for joining me. My name is Danielle Lane, and one thing that I do know, one thing that I do know is that we are all souls worthy of finding peace that benefits us, finding peace that does not destroy us, finding peace that does not require us to lose parts of our soul that matter most to us, the parts of our soul that created us into who we are, the parts of our soul that nobody else knows about. We should not have to lose those parts of us to have peace. But I do know that there are some things that we will have to lose to find that peace, that will sustain us and help us maintain in a way that allows us to live a life that benefits us, a life that is worth living, and a life that just really, even when life is hard, it's still worth saying, like, today I'm gonna still get up and fight because I have peace in knowing that I should be fighting and knowing that I'm worth the fight and knowing that I will get through this fight, especially, if Jesus is my savior and the Holy Spirit is guiding me. I'm going to get that peace. I'm going to receive the peace that surpasses all understanding. But what I do know is to find peace, you have to be willing to lose your connection with people, places, and the things that create all the noise in your life. And somebody said that. It wasn't me though. Somebody else said that. That's just a quote that I have read and it made so much sense. And sometimes though, those people, places, and things that are creating all the noise in your life that is keeping you from the peace that you want is sometimes things that once was not creating noise in your life, and sometimes things that was creating peace, that was your comfort, that was that light that you needed in those dark places. And so when we have to say goodbye to those people's places and things so that we can have that peace that we are looking for, it can feel like we're saying goodbye to our safety net. It can feel like we're saying goodbye to, the thing that we never imagined we would have to say goodbye to. And sometimes, that goodbye is not a complete full goodbye, but sometimes it's more of like, the position and place that I had you in, I could no longer keep you there. I can no longer allow you to hold that value that you once used to hold if it's a person. Or I could no longer really frequent this place anymore or go to this place for the same reasons or as often or for as long as I want to. And certain things, you have to let go of because you outgrew them. They're no longer beneficial to you. And they're not serving any purpose in your life but taking up space. And that applies to people too a lot of times. But as I said, this could definitely be hard because those things, people, and places once was your safety net. They were your peace. And now, when you have to redefine that, or when you have to let it go and say goodbye totally, it could be scary. It could be scary. It could hurt a little bit, sometimes a lot. And sometimes it could feel like you're in the fight of your life to remove those things out of your life. Especially, like I said, when it's a person, it's a little bit harder because, that person, and you may not even know fully like why I have to do this, but you know that every time you're around them, you know that the situation doesn't feel the same. You know that maybe there's some type of tension, there's some resentment, there's just always maybe something. You just can't get comfortable around them no more, and you have to be willing to explore that though and have to figure out, okay, why? What happened? Why am I no longer comfortable? And what is this? Like, what is this very uncomfortable feeling that I'm getting around you. And sometimes, like I said, it's not always that, that person is bad. It's not always that they did something horrible, but it can very well just be that the place that you're at in life and where you're trying to go, they just no longer fit there no more. And sometimes that's why it is so uncomfortable to be around them, because they're not fitting no more. So now you're trying to force them into a place that they no longer should be in. Sometimes because maybe they outgrew it, maybe they shrunk, maybe you outgrew them, or maybe you shrunk in the way that you guys were interacting with each other and in the ways that you guys were showing up for each other. Because at the end of the day, as we grow and as other people grow, we're not necessarily outgrowing each other in a bad way, but it's just like, the reasons why our paths used to cross, they don't cross those same paths no more. And now I just can't have you in the same position in my life that you once had. And that, like I said, that could be a little painful sometimes. Especially if it's a person that when you had nobody else, they were all you had. And that person never really, gave you reason to question them. And that person never really made you feel like they didn't have your best interests. And even now that you have to redefine that relationship, now that you have to move them out of your life because they are causing a lot of noise in your life that is distracting you and keeping you from your peace, it's not still that they don't have good intentions for you. It's just that those intentions that they have for you, or those intentions that you want them to have for you, are wrong. And we have to be willing to know that our peace is more important than anything that is really a hindrance to that peace. And be willing to say that, I'm worth whatever I have to do to get to that peace. I'm worth the tears that I may have to cry. I'm worth the inconvenience that I may have to put myself through from time to time to either not frequent a certain place that I used to want to go to all the time or that I love going to, or maybe not indulging in certain things that, like I said, sometimes aren't necessarily bad. They're just not beneficial. They're no longer bringing you that peace. They're no longer helping you get to the next level in life that you want, which in this case is peace, that next level of peace. Sometimes to get to the next level, what helped you to get to the level that you're at now is no longer going to help you to get to that next level. And in this case, what allowed you to have peace in one season is not going to allow you to have peace in the next season, because the next season is requiring something totally different. But we do have to remember that, it is going to get a little uncomfortable. Sometimes redefining and restructuring things can be uncomfortable. It can be like draining sometimes, but we have to remember why we're being drained. And identify that, because sometimes the reasons why you're being drained is that noise that's in your life that's draining you. And be willing to sometimes know that you might hit your head a little bit trying to find that peace. And knowing, like I said, that it's going to hurt. Some people, they're not going to look at you the same. Just like you don't look at them the same, they're not going to look at you the same. But you have to make sure that in your search and journey for peace, and in you having to redefine certain relationships, make sure that you are just mindful of the impact that these situations may be having on that person just as well as you, and knowing that the outcome is not always going to be exactly how you want it to be. But if you have good intentions and your intentions are not to hurt anybody, including yourself, but to really just produce the best life possible, that at the end of the day, everybody in the situation will be okay. Eventually, maybe now, maybe later, there will be understanding, at least for you, maybe not for that person, but there will be understanding that helps you to understand, like, okay, that's why I had to let them go. I see the noise that they were creating in my life, and now I see why it's so much more peaceful now that I've either, like I said, completely let them go or restructured them in the places that they are in my life and the access that they have to me. And then those places and things, and the access that you have to those places or those things, and the frequency that you frequent those places or things, and that you deal with those places or things and people. And also on this journey to peace and, really letting people go and situations go, we have to make sure that we remember that our past is what helped us get here to our present, but our past is not going to allow us to always get to our future, and the future that we should have, the future that is more peaceful. And just knowing and understanding that in our present, we have to be mindful and make sure that we are doing things that is going to set us up for the best possible future. And unfortunately, sometimes it is letting go of those things that was good for us in our past. And always remember that change can be difficult, because sometimes with change you have to change your values. Sometimes you have to change your morals, or sometimes that change in morals and values are the reasons why a lot of those people, places, and things are causing a lot of noise in your life and preventing you from getting to that peace. So we have to make sure that we honor and that we assess any new possible values and standards and perspectives that we now have, and morals that we are now trying to live by, and understand that, in that previous season, I wasn't living by these standards. I didn't have these values, or I didn't have these morals. I wasn't trying to uphold these morals and standards for my life. So that's why those people, places, and things previously did bring me peace. But now those are not the values that I hold anymore. Those are not the morals that I'm trying to live by no more. And those are not the standards that I'm trying to uphold anymore. So yes, it may be difficult for me to make that change, but it's a difficulty that will serve me well in my future. And if I kind of learn how to deal with it correctly in my present, I may see it happen right now. I may see that change happen right now. I may see that benefit of that difficult time that I'm going through right now. Or it might just really be off of my future. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure that we enjoy our present, but we live for our future. We want to make sure that we set ourselves up for a future that we want to live. And remember that we do have certain control of what our future can look like, because that control that we have is us and the part that we do in our present to set us up for that future. The work that we do, the time that we take to assess certain situations, to understand them, people, places, and things as well, that we are going to frequent in our future, that we are saying yes to in our future. We want to make sure that we understand what we're saying yes to, and we understand the possible peace that it can bring us, but also understand the challenges and the difficulty that may come with trying to reach that peace. And like I said, a lot of times it's letting go of those people, places, and things. But also, when we let them go, let go of them in a positive way. Let go of them knowing that if it's a person, 9 times out of 10, if that person brought you peace previously, what they are kind of contributing to your life now, it may not be negative, right? It may not be something that they have ill intentions for. It just may be coming from a place that they're still at in life. And that place is somewhere that you're just not at in life no more. You just don't have those views no more. You just don't believe that life should be that way no more. And since you don't believe those things, there is a different level or different type of peace that you are searching and seeking for. And that is why you do have to let go of that person or the value or the place that they hold in your life, because their values and their beliefs are not benefiting you in a way that is going to allow you to reach the new peace that you are trying to find. So I just want to encourage you to say that though this may be a difficult goodbye, maybe it might feel like you are saying goodbye to your safety, something that was so safe in your life, something that brought you safety when you didn't have any other safety in your life. It's now unsafe though. Unfortunately, it's unsafe, and it is safe to say goodbye to it though. And yes, it's going to be difficult, and yes, it will be challenging, but know that your future self will be thankful, and your present self is begging you and wanting you to do that, so that your future self can be as peaceful as possible. It can be as peaceful as you believe that it could be, if you can let go of those places, people, and things that are no longer serving you and the way that they used to, that are now the reason why you don't have peace. So I know that it's going to be hard for us. I know that it's going to be difficult. And some days we might cry a little bit. Some days you may have to shed a few tears. Some days you may just have to be silent. And some days you may just have to really just go through the breakdown. Like, be okay with being broken sometimes, because you know that the pieces that you are trying to put together now are going to be worth those broken pieces that you had to become, so that you can become this new puzzle, this new thing that you see for your future. So know that you are worth it. I am worth it. And we are worth saying goodbye to those things that are no longer bringing us peace, but that are making our lives unbearably noisy. And that being unbearable could be very slight. But the slightest thing that is making life unbearable means that it's no longer safe. And we want to live a safe, peaceful life that allows us to live a life that is worth living, a life that we are worth having, a life that we need, right? Like, we need to have a soul that flourishes, a soul that is at peace, and a soul that can make the best decisions in our present, so that our future can be something worth living for, something worth wanting to wake up and walk through. So thank you for listening. As always, if you haven't subscribed, subscribe. If there's a reason why you haven't subscribed and you want to share it, let me know. Um, Always open to feedback, always open to improving and doing my work as well, with the help of you as you let me help you. So subscribe, like, share, and comment whatever you want to comment. And know that you are a soul worthy of doing the work just as well as I am a soul worthy of doing the work. And we have to make sure that whatever that work looks like, whatever it takes, that we do it, because we're worth it. And we will always be worth it, no matter what our life is looking like in the moment. Our future will always be worth fighting for.